What's up, everyone? And now for the truth about my taxes. So, I'm an extremely honest person, and I'm going to just lay everything out brutally honest and tell it exactly the way I see it. Everybody has their own perspective in this world, and this is going to be my perspective, and I stand by what I believe in, and I will stand up for what I believe in. And this is it. So, bear with me. This is going to be a little bit of a story, but I guess it's my story, and I'm going to tell it. So, I grew up pretty poor when I was a kid. Single mom, doing all she could to raise me and stuff. When I got older, she ran a carpet store, and I started helping the carpet installers lay tile and do stuff like that. I was a helper from the time I was about 12, 13 years old. I started to help out, and I'd help out in the warehouse and do all kinds of work there. And then old man Harrelson, he taught me how to work hard, taught me some work ethic as well. And so as I got older, I went and I ended up going out on the road and laying tile. And it wasn't long. I did it a couple years, and a big job fell in my lap, and I took it. And at the age of 21, I had went from being super poor my entire life. I'm talking like no electricity in the winter sometimes, and no hot water. And just, I remember it was a struggle a lot, but I went from being super poor to just making all this money, and I did it all with my bare hands and all by myself with my work ethic. And I went from being a low man on a totem pole to running crews and having an entire $100,000 operation drop in my lap, and all I had to do was supply the guys and the labor. And so I did it. Young, naive, didn't know what I was doing, and I just jumped in and went to work. I didn't know any better. All I knew was how to work real hard, and that was it. And so my first year, I did pretty good. And by the time I was 21 years old, I was making $100,000 a year, when most of my friends were still in college and wouldn't even make that when they got out. And I did it all by myself. I dropped out of high school when I was 16. Got my GED, scored high enough on my GED to get college scholarships, but I didn't end up doing that. I had a real bad fever when I took it too. I was real sick. Wasn't even thinking right, but I still did good enough to get college scholarships. Can't even say it. But I never drived with school. Freedom has always seemed to be ingrained inside of me. I never liked teachers telling me what to do. I never liked bosses telling me what to do. I always wanted to be my own boss. I always wanted to do my own thing. So like I said, I went out and just made money and had all my buddies start working for me. And I didn't know what I was doing. I got 1099'd, which for those that don't know, that's when you make money and work for somebody else. If you subcontract and they give you a big paycheck, it's up to you to pay your own taxes. And it works out pretty good for a lot of people, because instead of the government taking money from you, you give the government money. And instead of, giving them money and saying, please can I have my money back, you go, well, this is what I give you. And it's just a different way of doing things, and I didn't quite understand what I was getting into. And before I knew it, I had everybody's debt on my shoulders. And the first year I did it, I didn't know what I was doing. I got in over my head, and I'm like, oh man, I got all this tax debt. This is a problem. And then by the second year, I realized I was never going to catch up. And by the third year, I just pulled out all the brakes and just kept going. And I started people off at $1,000 a week, cash. And I did it for 10 years. And there was a point to where I had 25 of my friends working for me. I had crews all over the United States and doing stuff all over. And so if you add everybody's wages up, $1,000 cash for years on end, times so many people, so many people, I ended up eating a lot of money in taxes. We're talking hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands. And I had a little boy that passed away. All my boys were born premature. I had a 3 pound 11, a 1 pound even. He passed away, and then a 1 pound 5 ounce. Who's just kicking butt. And once my middle son passed away, I realized that money wasn't the most important thing in the world anymore, and I really stopped caring about it completely. I just did it because I had to, kind of begrudgingly, and I really got burnt out on tile. I got burnt out on everything, and it was just a hard spot in my life. And I decided I wanted to come home and be with my kids, and because I was missing, all their stuff, their first steps, their first everythings, and it was heartbreaking to know that I wasn't there because I was always working. I got to see a lot of the world though, been to 47 states, been all over, done a lot of cool stuff, got so many crazy stories, it's insane, but I wanted to be with my kids, so I went from making a couple $100,000 a year, having all my buddies working for me, seeing the world, doing whatever I wanted, to driving a septic truck on me, being low man on a total pole, getting poop on me every day, and making about 20 grand a year. So it was a very humbling experience in life to go from boss, having the world in your hands, to driving a poop truck and getting poop on you and making nothing. But I was happy because I got to coach my kids football and their baseball and be a part of their lives, and I got to see them all the time. Unfortunately, me and my ex-wife didn't quite see eye to eye, so I went through a divorce, which was very hard at the time. And it's just sometimes that happens in life. We were opposites attract, but that's about as far as it goes, you live and you learn. But it's just, unfortunately, that's the way life dictated it for us. So, yeah, I got all this huge amount of tax debt, and I just kept doing my own thing. And at this point, I realized I could only do my own thing and just kind of 1099 work and just do what I can. So there was a day that the IRS came and they knocked on my door and said, "Mr. Butterfield, you owe us $750,000. What would you like to do about it?" And at the time, I had been studying a little bit, and there's even a lawyer, a tax professional, that says he was offering like $1 million if anybody could prove that there's a law that you have to pay your taxes. But at the time, I knew there was nothing I could do, and there still is nothing I could do. That's just an unimaginable huge amount of money that's not even fathomable to me. So I told him, I said, "I got a piece of junk truck that's worth a couple grand out there. You're more than welcome to have. Besides that, I'm not going to snitch on my friends. I'm not going to let you go ruin somebody else's life. I'm going to eat all this, and I'm going to take it right on the chin. And I'm going to eat everybody's taxes, and that's just how it's going to have to go." And so he looked at me and he said, "All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to put you in an uncollectible status, and after 10 years, it will go off your record. And if you ever make more than $35,000, we'll take it and take anything you ever hope to have." And I said, "All right, well, I guess that sounds fair enough." So at that point, I destined my life to poverty level pretty much, because $35,000, it is hard to get by on that, especially with kids and anything else. It's next to impossible. But I do it. I'm a minimalist, and I make it work. So that's what the IRS agent told me when he came to my house, and it has now been 10 years, and $750,000 has been wiped off my record. I have beat the IRS for $750,000. Most people say you can't beat death or taxes, but I beat one of them. I don't tend to beat the other one. I wouldn't want to do that, but it's just what life dictated me, and I held my ground, and I did what I had to do. There wasn't any other choice, and I don't think I'm a bad person. I made mistakes, and that was a stupid mistake that I did, and I was a young, dumb kid, and I just got in over my head, and it just perpetuated, and it was from my mistakes, the massive mistakes, that I got to that point, and I've had to live with this stress and this pressure of this my entire life, even before the IRS came and talked to me and did all this, and even after, it's always been a huge stress. If you can imagine what it's like on the IRS, $750,000, or even more than that, $1 million, and just, it's stressful. But it's been life, and I've learned to deal with it accordingly. And at this point, I can't, I'm so sick of stressing about it and worrying about it, I just don't even care anymore. I'm over it completely. And the way I see it at this point is that our federal government is run by criminals. And these people that are running the federal government are breaking laws. And I don't agree with them. And there is a laundry list of laws I could go through that they're breaking. But in my head, if I can just prove that they are breaking one law in a court, then I could prove that my taxes go towards breaking the law, and at that point I'm an accessory. And legally, I'm running for sheriff and everything, I do not want to be an accessory to criminal actions, and so I shouldn't be forced by the IRS to contribute to criminal actions. And that's just a hard line where I draw in the sand. It started out by me making a mistake and being a stupid kid, but it's turned into me being a stubborn, belligerent, I am the most stubborn person ever, probably. And it's just me drawing a line in the sand and saying, you know what? I'm not going to pay you. I'm not going to contribute to this. I'm morally, I don't agree with what you're doing, and I'm not going to do it anymore. It's over. I'm done trying. And so that's part of where I'm at and why I'm running for sheriff and everything else. If they ever come to me and the IRS comes to me, I believe I can go to court and I will represent myself. I believe in the Constitution, and the Constitution is a great thing. Our forefathers gave us some huge tools to be able to guarantee our freedom and checks and balances. And jury nullification is one of those things, and due process is one of those things with a trial. And so I think that I can go to a jury trial and I can convince one of the 12 jurors that our politicians are committing crimes. And if I can get through to one juror and have them see it my way, then the case will be dismissed. You know, it'll be a split decision, and it'll have to be dismissed. So if I can just get one juror to be as stubborn as me and to see things my way, so yeah, I guess that's where I'm at, is that I'm representing myself. Anyone that has a lawyer, they have to abide by the Bar Association, so they can't question the laws themselves because they'll lose their bar license. But the Constitution and due process, Fifth Amendment guarantees a right to a trial, a public trial, and I shouldn't have to have a lawyer to represent myself and my freedom. So I should be able to represent myself, and I do intend to, and I intend to use my rights to the fullest instead of letting them go by the wayside. No, I actually want to use them. Let's do this. And so I'm not scared anymore, and I'm just going to stand up for what I believe in and what I feel is right. And I think everybody's mad because they are forced to pay taxes too, and nobody wants to pay taxes. Everybody's sick of this. And when somebody doesn't pay taxes, they go, "Oh, I'm mad, I got to pay taxes. You should too." Man, you're not looking at it right. You're looking at it like, hey, you need to look at it like they're doing wrong stuff, and I support that guy, and I think that it's wrong too. I think I should do that too, you know? And so the more of us that stand up, the more of us that can change things. But even on a local level, I have this idea for localism, where the local community can do what's called a home rule charter. And once we have a home rule charter, we can also write petitions and create our own ways of life locally. And if we create a petition that says we don't want to pay federal taxes and instead want to use that money to put in our pockets or to help our local community, then that's what we decide. And me running as sheriff, I will do that. And I can't legally run for sheriff because I owe taxes, and the Ethics Commission won't let me. But it's a never-ending circle, which means the way I see it is if I contribute to the system, I'm perpetuating and breaking the law. So there's a flip side to each coin, you know. But that's just my perspective and the way I see things, and I'm willing to take it to court. And as far as jury nullification goes, the jury has the ability to decide not only the guilt or innocence of the person on trial, but the law itself. So if I can go to a jury and say, look, these guys are criminals, I don't want to support criminals, let's nullify this, and then there's a chance that we could change the entire system. So I myself am standing all by myself up to the IRS, by myself, single solitarily. And I know it's an insane thought, but somebody's got to do it at some point, because that's what allows it to go on, is them able to just rob from us and steal from us and do whatever they want. I think all taxes should be voluntary, and once we voluntarily give taxes, they get their budgets and they go from there. Right now, the way the budgets work is they just create money, rob our children, and do whatever they want, and whatever the lobbyists that write these 1,000-page laws want. And it's not run by we the people. So this is how we get the power back, is we stand up to them, we stop paying them, and we say, we're going to voluntarily give you what you want. That's your budget, work from that. And that's how they get their budgets. I got another idea. I'm nominating my dog as president. I want to do that in my next video. Logically, if you listen to it, it's going to make sense. It sounds crazy right now. I'm half joking, half serious, but hear me out in the next video. It probably make sense. So yeah, that's basically where I'm at. Is I owe a bunch of money. The 10 years has went away. I have got more letters from the IRS that say I owe more money now, and I'll always owe money. And so what I do myself is I just live by what I signed, and I don't make more than $35,000 a year. I don't keep track. I don't do any of that. I'm not going to waste my time doing any of that. That's a huge waste of effort, time, and everything. And anymore, I don't even file. There were years where I just guessed and said, I don't have anything and nothing. I haven't made any headway, done anything. I have really nothing, and so this is it. And that's basically where I'm at. I don't have really anything. I don't have anything for the IRS to take, really. I mean, I got bare minimalistic things, and I live as minimalistic as possible, just barely getting by to survive. And I don't make good money. I don't do anything. I mean, I have a business, and I charge $50 an hour for what I do and $150 a truckload. So in theory, I do make good money, but I know I can lay tile. I have endless skills in this world where I can go and do anything. I can make tile and make thousands. I could still make hundreds of thousands doing tile, but I'm just burnt out on it. I don't want to do it, and I don't care about money. And instead, a lot of times I'll help people for free. So I got a sliding scale of, if I think somebody can afford it, I charge them $50 an hour and $150 a truckload. And if somebody's in a tight spot, I'll do it for free, and I'll bust my butt. And there's times where I work weeks or even months and won't make any money. But most of the time, just know that I'm counting change and barely getting by. And that's the way I exist in my life. And I keep my end of the deal with the IRS because I'm an honest person. And I think that with the inflation it is, I'm openly saying that I'm giving myself a raise at this point, because everything's went up at least 30%. So I'm going to go ahead and say it's $50,000 now. Like I said, I don't actually file. I'm just being honest and open with everyone, and probably all the IRS agents and FBI agents watching this, you're more than welcome to jot that down as well. So I just am doing what I can to try and stop some of the craziness that's going on in this world. I'm trying to create peace ultimately. I made a promise to my son that passed away that I want to try and create peace in this world, and I'm just going to be honest and not sugarcoat it anymore. The thing that gets me the most in this world is bombs. I will not support bombs. I don't care. I think that taking the life of an innocent person is wrong, no matter how you cut it. And if you take the life of an innocent child, that's the epitome of wrong, and it's as bad as it gets. And I will never, ever, ever, ever contribute to that. We drop thousands of bombs a year, every year. And it's just, and we fund all these wars and all these other things, and I will not fund it morally. I am not okay with it, and I will not do it anymore. And that's where I'm at. I think the taxes, like I said, should be voluntary. We should have a multiple choice to where we get to decide to the entities we want to contribute to. Democrats could fund Democrat stuff. Republicans could fund Republican stuff. And at the end of the day, nobody's robbed, because taxation is theft. If you take something from somebody that they don't want to give up, fundamentally that's theft. And that's where I am as sheriff as well. Like I said, I think taxation is theft, and I can't enforce stealing from somebody else. So I guess we all have different perspectives, but I'm willing to stand up for my perspectives in court. And please know that I'll never put hands on cops or any officer in any way. I will always, always represent myself in court, and I am not scared to go and represent myself at any time, because I believe in jury nullification, I believe in the system, and I believe in justice. And I still think that the system can work, and I'm not scared. So, I'm nervous, obviously. So I want to show you guys what I got, what I'm working with, and where I'm at with my entire life and my entire existence. Basically what I got is, I've worked my whole life to get what I have right now, and I live a very minimalistic lifestyle. I have a truck, which is also my business. I have a camper, which is my home, and my youngest child's home when he comes over with me. He kind of does his own thing. My older boy does his own thing, so I'm kind of on my own right now. But yeah, when he comes over, this is his, and this is also his inheritance. This is my Social Security. Most people have Social Security. They paid into their whole lives. I have nothing, because I've never paid anything in my whole life, basically. And this is my everything. I got a little motorcycle that I'm just learning how to drive. It's my fuel-efficient vehicle. It gets like 62, 68 miles a gallon versus my truck that gets nothing. So that's my way to travel. I also have a little electric bike that I use to get around trying to stay healthy. And that's my everything. I have a tiny little camper that I live in. I have my truck, which is my business and my way to survive. I have a little motorcycle, and I have a electric bike, and I have some other stuff that's mine. It's all paid off, but everything in my life together is not even worth $15,000. $15,000. And anybody out there, you know, thinking that it's a lot, it's not really. $15,000 is pretty meager, you know, and some people who think that it may not be that much, but at the same time, I have freedom. I have my camper, I have my truck, I have my health, and I can go anywhere and do anything I want. And ultimately, we all have that. We all get dragged down with life, and we all have our bills and our houses and all this. The more stuff you got, the more money you make, the more bills you got, and the more it just all adds up. And so, in theory, anybody could do what I did it and just sell everything out, spend and live within your means of what you have to pay off, and you won't have any bills, and then you're just set, and you can do what you want and achieve true freedom. And that's what I'm after, is freedom. I just want the freedom to do my own thing and be left alone. I ain't hurting nobody. I'm not a bad person. I'm trying to create peace and love in this world and get to everybody to get along. And that's my promise to my son that I'm trying to do. And that's my passion and what seems to consume me. And so that's all I'm doing. I'm not a bad person. I don't think I deserve to be in prison. And I help the community a lot. I put boots on the ground. And that's my way of helping. And I could go on forever on countless instances where I help people, and I don't brag about it. I don't talk about it. I just, it's not something I do, but I pull my weight. Just know that I do pull my weight, and I try to help out in other ways, and I try to do other ways. And at the end of it all, I'm not out here making money. I'm not some baller. I make good money when I work sometimes and when I want to charge money for it. And it enables me to spend time making videos like this and do other things. And it's just what I do. Like I said, I have a endless list of skills in this world. I've done every trade there is, almost. So I'm a jack of all trades, master of none. There's more to that saying that's really good. And I wish I could remember it, but I can't right now. But yeah. I mean, that's basically my life. I do demolition. I got a business called Demolition Man. If anybody out there needs something demoed, I like to tear down houses. I usually find myself doing trash jobs where renters will move out and leave the house trashed, or tearing out sheetrock or mold or burnt stuff. It's dirty, nasty, terrible work. It seems to be what I've done my whole life. I went from working super, super hard on floors to septics to now demo, and it's just it seems to be my bane of my existence to have a dirty job. But hey, it's what I do, I guess, and it pays the bills, and that's just where I'm at with life and what I do. And I'm going to give you a quick little tour of my setup. We're going to call this MTV Cribs here. So, boom! Look at that bad mother trucker right there. So that's my truck. Old 7.3 Ford 4x4. Extended cab. Got torn up seats. All my tools and baseball, football stuff in the back. Don't nobody get no ideas. I know how some of you people are. It's not worth trying. I'm sure everybody watching this is good people, though. And then there's my camper. Ain't nothing special. It's just a little guy. But I've done some cool little things to it. I'll take you in and show you some of my mods on my MTV Cribs here. But it's just nothing. I mean, it's hardly anything. But it's enough for me, and I'm happy, and I have freedom, and I can do what I want when I want. All right, this is the inside here. We got carpet on the floor. Yeah, I decorated the room with tapestries. This is my MTV Cribs place. Big screen TV. Oh yeah, nice and fancy. Got my radio under there. PA system. Pretty awesome. Cooler. Got tables under here. Keep in mind I'm 6'3", 300 pounds. This place is very small. Very minimalistic for a big guy like me. Got some fine art there on the wall. Yeah, that's fine art. This is pretty cool because I made that ladder myself, but there's a spot up above to hang out. It's awesome. So yeah, there's my kitchen, dining room. That turns into a table too. Yep, map. It's a cool, awesome picture. Yeah, and the tiny little bathroom. It ain't much, but it's neat. Like I said, for a big guy, very minimalistic, very small. 300 pounds, 6'3". I'm a giant. This is as minimalistic as it gets. I cannot find something smaller and more compact. This is my life. It's running on the Jenny right now. Generator. Does have AC up in there. But yeah, this is my house. This is my home. And like I said, I got $15,000 in everything I own. And that's my home, that's my truck, that's my business, that's my retirement. Most people have Social Security, 401ks. I got nothing. You guys can take my freedom and throw me in jail. What's that gonna do? I'm not hurting anybody. I'm not doing nothing wrong. I'm just trying to get by. I just want to do my own thing and be left alone. I'm just asking for freedom. And so I stand on by what I believe, and that's why I'm doing all I do, is because I think that if we create freedom in this world, we can create peace. And I'm leading by example with the whole freedom. And this is as free as you can get. So yeah, I'll post the pictures of my motorcycle, and it's a little enduro. It's a 650 BMW and a little electric bike, like I said, and that's basically my existence in my life. But I can travel, I can see the world, I can go where I want. And that's what I'm getting ready to do. I'm getting ready to travel, I'm getting ready to go places. I'm getting ready to take the show on the road, so we're gonna see where it takes me. Like I said, thanks everybody for staying posted and keeping along. Appreciate everybody, and that's just my story about taxes and the situation that I'm in, and me being honest, and what my plans are, and what I can do. And I'm just laying it all out for everybody. I ain't hiding nothing, I ain't sugarcoating nothing, and I'm just being as honest and true as I can be. So yeah, that's it. Thanks everybody. Appreciate y'all.